الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على حبيبنا وسيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، يروي الإمام مسلم في صحيحه بسند صحيح عن جابر بن عبد الله رضي الله تعالى عنهما أنه سمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قبل وفاته بثلاثة أيام يقول. Today's hadith is narrated in the collection of Imam Muslim with an authentic chain of narration, and it underlines one of those important Islamic concepts that actually I don't think anyone can live without it. And when we talk about the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sunnah is much wider than what a lot of people would understand it to be. If you want to categorize it into two main categories, number one, the first Sunnah is the physical actions of the Prophet, how he ate, what he prayed, the fasting Mondays and Thursdays, etc., things like that, right? But there's also another aspect of the Sunnah, which is the internal personality, the internal characteristics of the person, the internal personality traits. And that is probably it's overlooked because it's easy to overlook it because it doesn't have time. You have to practice it continuously. Being truthful, you have to be truthful 24/7. But praying Sunnah, you do it for a couple of minutes and you're done with it. So it's one of those things that you have to really work hard on it. And today's hadith is narrated Jabir ibn Abdullah. He and his dad were both Sahaba, companions of the Prophet ﷺ, and he's narrating a very short hadith from the Prophet ﷺ 3 days before he passed, the Prophet ﷺ. And he passed on scholars report that he passed on the day that he was born, and that there's certain wisdom in that. He says, لا يموتن أحدكم إلا وهو يحسن الظن بالله عز وجل. That make sure that none of you would reach the end of their life, would die, unless you have developed a certain characteristic, which is having good expectations from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now let's dissect the wording. The Prophet ﷺ used this wording, لا يموتن أحدكم, that make sure. He could have used it different, but this seems, if you'll understand Arabic, it seems like it's something that you have to work on for the whole, for the entire of the time that you've existed on this planet, until you reach the time that you actually will need it, which is right before you die. So it's almost saying that the Prophet ﷺ is saying that work on it for the whole, all of your life. This is what you make sure it's always there, because we don't know when we're going to die. That's agreed upon. Therefore, you always have to be ready with this personality trait, with having good expectation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is one of the things that you have to have it 24/7. You can't just have it at some point, because these things, as the Sheikh earlier was saying, the internal internal aspect of our deen, of our religion, is what you work on the most, because it's continuously there. You always have to work on it. So in this lifetime, it's agreed upon that this is a very materialistic life we're living. Everything is severely monetized, and everything is mathematical and physical. It's very monetized. And having good expectations from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, expecting good things from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if it comes even if it doesn't look good. It is not Islamic to actually expect bad things to happen. You know, when you hear someone wakes up and says, this is not going to be a good day. For some reason, they saw something. That is not an Islamic trait. Because what this person is doing is accusing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not unintentionally, but that's what's happening. In his tadbir, in his judgment, in what you get and what you receive on that day. So basically, optimism is how you lead this life. You always expect good things. Will it always happen? Maybe not. There are some things that will look bad to you that will happen. But expect it. And it came in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when Yaqub said, Ya bani yadhabu fatahassasu min Yusuf, go and check and spy around and make sure that you find him. ولا تيأسوا من روح الله, that do not despair from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إنه لا ييأس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون. That only disbelievers, only those who don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will despair. Because if you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know how merciful and forgiving He is. The question that everyone asks, and they make a big deal out of it, what is the purpose of life? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it in one ayah. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That the purpose of life, philosophers and all that, they're talking and writing books about it, is actually to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then so He can have His mercy on you. إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, there's a يَعْبُدُونِ is to worship me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need you to worship Him. No, you worship Him for you, so you can deserve somewhat His mercy and forgiveness. So we always have to expect. And then closer you come to this is actually mainly for my younger brothers. Develop this habit of being optimistic and expecting good things to happen. Always expect good things. Always face things with a smile and expect good things. But it doesn't mean that an older person like myself should just despair. No, of course not. That negates it. No, you always have to develop that. And especially the closer you get to departure from this world, you need that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will see that. Because at this point, you have only a few days, few months, whatever it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that you're in a state of despair and there's nothing that you can depend on. You don't have time to do, okay, I'll do salah, I'll memorize the Quran, so you depend on this. The only thing you're going to depend on is Him. And that is pure. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking for. So the closer, and He said, when did He say it? 3 days before He passed, teaching us. He had this, 100% had this habit mastered, the Prophet ﷺ, all through his life. But mainly, He said it, teaching us to have that at the end of one's life. So I hope this was a benefit. يروي الإمام مسلم في صحيحه عن جابر بن عبد الله رضي الله تعالى عنهما أنه سمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول قبل 3 أيام من وفاته يقول لا يموتن أحدكم إلا وهو يحسن الظن بالله عز وجل. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ولا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.